the walls or walks the line. There's a rare few who think outside the box together for the crew. To break the equations, not down to any rule. Exposing to the world the universe's own view. It takes the talent of the craftsman, it takes the mind of the fool, to make the vision realize energy and matter in a duel. To a break, to a duel. The old man Bills was running through his head. Cheryl probably got it hiding under his bed. Penny up to Annie making power for days. Don't listen to a word that the straight no says. Mike building batteries to power a ship. Victor comes to talking math, that's the water spiral dip. Sean chucking plasma bolts a mile long. Sheila on the video making tone truck the prongs. Burning breaking matter, they said it couldn't be done. And to all the people in the chat, I know you're having fun. So it's time to spend your Saturday with the doping old man Bills.
Hey everyone, my name is Nathan, otherwise known as Old Man Bills. What's up, Joe?
Yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay, motherfuckers.
Where you at, man?
I'm in my backyard. I was trying to put my chickens to bed, but it's been a process there. They're just like all underneath the coop. And then my black one, he's like, he runs the show. Yeah, I'm walking inside now. I figured better this than be late.
Oh yeah, well, do what you got to do, man. If you got to get them cooped up, go for it.
Yeah. Oh, Adam Sandler. Yeah, come on. All right. Anyway, disclosure day, huh? That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I went and I saw the movie this morning.
Right on. How was that?
It was okay. It wasn't as much as I wanted to be honest with you. It wasn't about like history and things like that and how they disclose it over time. It was basically, hey, we got aliens and we're trying to get out the message of it.
We we got aliens, like it's like we got termites.
Well, like at the end, it was kind of like, in spoiler alert for everybody out there, it was just they do a news broadcast and they show all the alien footage held by the government so that you'd be able to see, aliens and crashes and different UFOs and things like that at the end, which, was pretty interesting. That like 15 minutes of the movie was great. You know what I mean?
So they integrated some of the real disclosure release stuff into it.
Yeah, look, I won't go that far. Like a lot. It's mainly the movie is let's do a bunch of chase scenes and go around everywhere and give you mysterious stuff you won't understand until about 30 to 40 minutes in, and then it's more like abductees that got things implanted in their brain so they'd be able to understand this stuff later. And that was like a movie part. And then they did the disclosure part. And they had an alien show up at the end.
So how did people react to all this?
Well, there wasn't that many people in the theater, man. There was probably maybe 20 people in there.
No, I mean in the movie. Like how did everybody take the disclosure?
Oh, they were all freaking out.
They were wigging out?
Yeah, like stuck to their phones, you know what I mean? And all watching it, stuff like that. They tried in the beginning a little bit, bring up the religious thing, and that lasted all about 10 minutes, enough to frustrate you in the beginning. And then you're like, dude, just blow past it. And they did, thankfully. But
okay.
but everybody was freaking out. Like people over there trying to pick up their luggage at the airport, and instead they're watching their phones, and they showed different pictures of people on their phone everywhere, stuff like that. So
think about it like this. Which is kind of crazy. Like if it were really to happen, but when the moon landing happened, when that day in early September of 2001 happened, right? What everybody was doing was, being glued to that. Like no matter where you were, no matter what you had to do, it was put aside for those few minutes, and I think that if it ever came to that point of disclosure, that's exactly what it would be. Like, nobody would not be interested.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. I mean, that's why I said the last, 15, 20 minutes was good. So, yeah, you know what, though? I don't know how you would disclose something like that. I mean, but they took it from the 50s on, as if they were showing up instead of they didn't go anything into the past. They didn't go anything into, a major part of the technology or anything like that. It wasn't about any of that, which I was looking for. I would have loved that, but no, it's just basically here's some aliens that we had. We took them into tents, we poked them and prodded them, and everybody's thinking, well, that's kind of like the zoo. You know what I mean? So I would imagine they did that. That's the government here for you.
It's how we treat things, isn't it? It seems to be, we're pretty consistent across the board, it seems.
Yeah. Even if our cells go rogue, we're stuck in a little cage. I mean, we're no better than zoo animals to them.
That's it, right? As soon as they find out that you're, even as a human, if you're any different than the general population, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So, no, but it was pretty cool, man. I enjoyed getting out of the house and going to watch a movie this morning. Something just kind of odd that I don't always do.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think that's great. I mean, I don't go to the movies all that often, but that seems like, especially considering everything that we discuss here and everything, it seems like an appropriate watch.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of hoping, man, it'd be freakier. You know what I mean? Some gotcha moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There wasn't any of that. I was really hoping for that. I was hoping for some ancient history in there, some pyramids, some terraforming, something good, something to do with, I don't know, we've been leaving messages forever and you guys are morons that don't understand them. You know what I mean? But that wasn't it. It was more poking and prodding.
Yeah. Go figure. The way you make it sound, another little bit of a disappointment, almost like real disclosure, which I guess isn't that the point?
I guess it is.
Right.
Because you and me would be like, oh, okay, we knew you were coming. We just wanted to see what you actually look like. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, that's sort of it. I mean, it's no idea. Like, I do feel like with all that's going on with this, it feels like we're in a massive psyop over the whole entire thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like I said many times in the past, it's like that. When you cover something up and you lie about it for so damn long, but then you turn around and you start reversing and unrolling the script over time and all that sort of stuff, even when you have the aha moment, it's like, it's a little lackluster and you don't even know what to believe.
Yeah. Well, what they should have done was go into how they treat people and how they condition them. You know what I mean? To say the same thing over and over and over again. And then to argue with other people. So the pressure's not on the government anymore. It's on everybody arguing with everybody. They didn't even go into that fact of what they're doing.
Right.
I mean, some of this stuff, Joe, you and I do this a lot. So we know this. Creating some of this stuff isn't that difficult. You know what I mean? Give us $100,000, put us in a lab. I guarantee you we'll have it. And people keep saying, "Oh my God, it's got to be alien because it's out of our reach as humans." And I'm sitting here every time looking at them like, "Are you kidding me? It's within our grasp right now. We just have to smarten up a little bit. Stop going down the rabbit holes. Quit telling somebody that when they have a theory and they're telling you what it is, sit there and say, "Oh, well, you should watch this guy because he has another theory." I don't give a fuck what his theory is.
Yeah.
Okay? I could care less. I know what it is. You know what I mean? We do. We've been doing this for long enough. But that's the psyop. That's it right there. It's, oh, let me put you down this rabbit hole. Let's compartmentalize the science, and then we'll give it different names so we can confuse you. And then we'll make everything confusing. Instead of, doing that and the movie saying that, we get, here's the aliens. I'm thinking, yeah, let's get into the dirty CIA secrets. You know what I mean? They were hiding this. And it was like there was a B team in there that operated as the government agents.
Yeah, it's, first of all, let me say, I saw one or two people that saw it and they were kind of doing their analysis, a little bit of it. And I guess they pulled out the most interesting stuff. And I don't know how correct any of it is since I didn't see it, but I guess they were saying something about like extraterrestrials, like sort of possessing like
like animal forms or, you know, generalized or like earth abstract forms and then presenting themselves telepathically to like people, specifically children, I guess. And, you know, that's how they sort of break down the gate and the barrier of it being, you know, strange. So they, when the child is older, they end up abducting the child later in life, sort of deal.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my, and frankly, that kind of sounds plausible. Like that kind of sounds plausible.
Like a spirit animal is kind of what it was. Kind of like an old Indian thing. They show up as you as your spirit animal.
Sure, like a
And
spirit animal, or just like in general, like you know, people who spend a lot of time in nature, and you know, like uh, they kind of let the, you know, they let the breeze talk to them, or you know, they have all these you know, kind of conversations with themselves, so to speak, in the presence of, you know, wild animals, let's say, or they have an you know, an experience where it's like profound with just like a bird in a tree where it seems significant and you can't put your finger on it, sort of thing. It's like linking with your subconscious, that sort of deal. It's pretty interesting, actually.
yeah, it's actually what they were talking about in there, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, I made a lot of assumptions about it since I didn't see it. But by the way, I think your audio might be lagging. At least for me, it is.
It's lagging.
Yeah, your video. Is anybody else noticing that? Because if it's me, then I'm gonna back out and come back in and fix it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I'll put the mic up closer.
No, it's a video thing. I think it might be
It's
on.
a video thing.
Oh, it's good. I'm gonna quit and come back in. So I'll be 1 second.
Chicken's got you.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I were you guys and you wanted to watch it, wait till it comes out on the, you know what I mean, on the thing. I don't know that you want to spend your money on that one, but you know, if you're curious about it, I guess you could. Huh. Yeah. No, I was hoping for more, man. Of course, then again, we talk about a lot of stuff on the show, so I guess my expectations a bit higher than I mean everything else. So there we are. Did that clear it up, Joe?
Oh, perfect. Yep, the chickens did get you. They got me. Yeah, I probably had a different latency outside than I had inside when I walked in and messed it up. Who knows? Anyway.
Yeah, damn internet drops whatever 5G to 2G to 5G, and then you don't know what the hell you're doing.
I just thought it was strange because I hear you talking, but you were stationary, and then your mouth would be moving. I'm like, and I'm talking. And I was like, this is just.
I've had those days, bro. You imagine being deaf trying to deal with that? That's so hard, dude.
Oh, no way.
And you don't know when to talk. You're like, you know what I mean? You're trying to get in there.
Well, especially people like us with beards, so you can barely see the lips move.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah, no, man. It would be cool. I'll be honest with you. Just talk about the subject if you don't mind. It would be really cool to have aliens show up and just announce that they're here, and just get it out there. Just full shock and awe. You know what I mean? We're smarter than you. We're more advanced than you. Get over it. We're here to help you. Okay, I'm already done. I'm not going to my nearest church. I'm not praying. I'm not kissing my ass goodbye. You know what I mean? I'm saying, okay, what do you got to show me?
Well, I mean, they could come down and tell us everything, and then just like all humans generally do, we just won't listen to a fucking word they have to say.
Yeah. We got the first 15 minutes covered. After that, buddy, your speech is on its own.
So we're going to explain creation to you, and then they explain it in plain words, and it's like, no, that's great. You know, I don't know if you read this book. It's called the Bible.
Oh, they're giving aliens lessons in the Bible. That's exactly what would happen.
Well, that's it. They'd be like, well, maybe you want to sit down for a second. Well, you know, the Jehovah's Witnesses would be right on. Like they'd be knocking on they'd be knocking on the spaceship door. Like,
yeah, they wouldn't even let it open first, right? I mean, Oh man, they'd be showing up in their little minivans, and like 10 of them pop out like circus clowns. All do 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 do
Right
do
on.
do do.
Well, you know what's out of control is, and I had this conversation the other day with somebody. You remember back in the day, like they used to have commercials on television for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints,
Oh
and
yeah,
it was like, and it sounds such like so benign, right? And I'm like, you understand those are Mormons, don't you?
no, they don't.
I'm like, I was like, when you send for their Bible, you know that you're getting you're not getting the Bible. You're getting the Book of Mormon, bro.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, crazy
Yeah.
stuff.
You know what? But yeah, it'd be cool to see if they have tentacles hanging out of places. You know what I mean? Because that's really what we're curious about. You know what I mean? Do you look
That'd be
normal?
shocking, wouldn't it? Like, yeah, if it's like smart and it was like the Simpsons aliens, like an eyeball with a helmet and they have
Yeah.
tentacles.
But see, that's the thing. I mean, that's what we're showing up for. We're like, well, how bad is it? You know what I mean? Compared to us, how bad is it? Like, I gotta know.
You know what I love is how they had to they always throw into the alien lore that there's like Nordic aliens and they're just like, they're just all like sexy specimen humans.
Oh yeah, good looking blondes.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you
right,
went to
right,
Norway or something. Yeah,
right. They're all Swedish models. All of them.
we're all thinking, yeah, that's where that Volkswagen bus commercial came from. We all think about. There are a bunch of hot Nordics sitting there in the bus, but since they have a spaceship, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's it. Something like that, man. I don't know, but they had to throw that one in there just for like, because people are strange, man. Like
So,
people always love to fetishize stuff.
so, so does that mean that all the models used to be Nordic and then they didn't have one, so they put on that dude? You know what I mean? Over there at Bud Light.
Something like that, man. I
I
don't know.
tried to bring us back to reality that those were aliens we were looking at. Now this is the truth, which is more reason to drink their product.
So okay. So one thing I don't understand because I didn't see the movie, but I saw it mentioned twice is, and I'm gonna give Dead Fish his little, fluff for the day. So what was the story with the crystal that allows you to control the technology and people's perception or whatever that is?
Okay, when they're laying in the bed, they have this ring, and on the ring, there are crystals on there. They look black. They don't look like a lot of crystals, right? And that was able to be able to mind control you and things like that, give
They
memories
don't
into
like
you.
a lot of crystals.
No, they look black. Not obsidian, not shiny, but just like dull black is what they were. And they didn't use the crystals in like, let's put it in technology or something like that. They put it in their hand like this, and that's all they really did. And it was supposed to be able to control other people. They saw that you went into the one guy went into this lady's body and was going to shiv this guy while he was driving because he can control the body. And then they were able to see through other people's eyes or show up in rooms and talk to people. That part was pretty cool. So yeah, there was some cool stuff to that. I wish the crystals themselves look awesome, but they did shine and they did have a glow to them. So yeah, they did have those in there. That's for sure. So the technology part of it was kind of cool that, they took over somebody's body and the person couldn't get him back, right away. I'm thinking to myself, dude, good luck. Good fucking luck, dude. Take over my body. Yeah. As soon as you get in, you're going to be crying for, in pain. You'll be like, oh, get me back the fuck out.
Yeah, right. How's your 3D experience now, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Is it visceral enough for you? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the aliens did not fly, neither did people using the crystals fly. And there wasn't really a crystal to drive the ship. Like they didn't get in and take over a ship or something, which would have been cool. They didn't hot rod one. It was mainly, I want to say it. It was like watching a Netflix version of a Hollywood movie where you look at the bad guys and you're going, are you kidding me? You're missing him everywhere. Like he's literally walking up right behind you and you're not seeing him. Like, oh, let me see a bunch of people and let me run towards it. Right? It was those kind of stupid things going on, and you're like, oh my God, I'm in pain. And then they start talking about religion, and you're like, you know what I mean? I'm gritting my teeth, going, please stop. You know what I mean? Because it's not like they're identifying one or anything like that. It's just it was like a piss poor job.
I mean, wait until the real disclosure comes out, and the news is this. Actually, our solar system is the center of the universe. In fact, our solar system is the entire universe, and everything that you see outside of us is just simply a reflection back, a refraction, of ourselves, just in a different a slightly different configuration because it refracted out differently. The same as when you look in an object through a fractured mirror, and the object, it just looks a little tiny bit different and rearranged over here than it does right here. And then when you reflect that over here, but you bring the same equation, all it does is rearrange slightly different. And where is it? It's all right here next to us, and we're just sitting there looking up into a big fucking mirror. And there is other stuff, but the thing is that it's stacked in layers. Okay, and the layers are just out of phase, dimensionally out of phase. And you have to be able to phase out of this frequency band in order to enter into other frequency bands in order to experience that. So the fact is that there are aliens, but there are no extraterrestrials, because the only thing that's terrestrial in the first place is right here, right now, and always throughout all of time. Wait, you want to drop the hammer? Just say the big piece. Like
that'd be cool.
Quite possible that what I just said is quite possible. It's possible. There's less than a 0% chance of that being true.
Well, according to everything,
less than a 0% chance.
According to everything, Joe, that YouTube keeps putting on my feed for me to watch, is that it's a big psyop, and that we're basically zoo animals that they watch from a distance and come in and poke and prod us and take some blood every once in a while, and then they show up in like Bigfoot and things like that. Is what the internet keeps telling me is going on, and that, you know what I mean? We're just a little colony that they built so that they can put things in here. So,
well, I mean, if you think about like what a rapture might look like, right? Imagine multiple dimensions coming into phase simultaneously. Like you see what I mean? Like multiple points in time and space, whatever, coming into phase simultaneously. It would be like the Philadelphia experiment, where it's like you have this brief amount of time where there's this fluidity that doesn't exist normally, right? Under normal physics. There's this fluidity, but then all of a sudden, then you get locked back into phase. And wherever you are, when you're locked back into phase, all of a sudden you've become a part of, And like if you're, like if there's a Tyrannosaurus Rex or something, and you're like, holy shit, like you run up to the thing and you go right through it, but then all of a sudden you phase back in, and now all of a sudden, your body is inside of a Tyrannosaurus Rex's foot, and then like your arms are like hanging out of his leg, and then your face is there, and then that thing dies and everything goes back to normal, and then all of a sudden they're gonna find like a fossil in the future of like a human being fused to the leg of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like it's like lunacy, you know what I mean? That would be like the rapture, where like
it would.
And like everything that stays in the normal phase of things, they would just see people like blinking out of existence, and other things blinking kind of into existence, but not fully. And then all of a sudden it's gone. And then they just remain. And they're like, what the fuck just happened? That's crazy. Half the world's population is gone because they were in some kind of other frequency,
Well, it's kind of like the planet alignment, right?
Crazy.
If all the planets align, then all the phases align. So are you going to be able to see it right then? You know what I mean?
Right. You end up with like some kind of energetic quasar beam, the moment that all the transaxes align. So once you get the alignment right, that's cool. But what you really need is your transaxials to align. And once that would happen, it would be like, whoa, constructive interference just across the board. Full-blown scalar, like decoherence into full-blown amplified coherence. Like,
okay, so it wouldn't freak me out to see an alien, but to see all of a sudden things start appearing in my room, you know what I mean? Like weird-looking animals and bugs and insects that were super tiny that are super huge now, shit like that. That would freak me out.
Yeah, that was crazy. You'd think you went to hell.
Yeah. That'd be screwed up, man.
Man, let me like, oh man, the dinosaurs were bad. They're all in hell. And then it's like a volcano erupting, and then there's like a 11-foot centipede. Then there's an alien, except it's just like a human being from 45,000 years in the future.
Yeah.
and everyone's sitting there like, what the hell? Like, can we not right now? Thanks.
Yeah, you become the
like,
other guy.
I got technology to fix this. Bye.
Dude, that would be cool if they were like tall grays in the future. Like I'd hang out there for a while. They might have some weird rituals or something, man, because they probably don't poop normal anymore. You know what I mean, or something like that. That'd be my biggest fear. Not what they eat, not anything like that. I get over that. You know what I mean? Like that Demolition Man, they use 3 seashells. You know what I mean, instead of toilet paper. That kind of thing.
Crazy.
They just beam it out of you. They're just like, okay, you got to go hit this button. Boop, beams it out of you.
Yeah, let me ask you this. How come Mandela effects never work in your favor? Like, how come you can't, like, right, like you mentioned toilet paper, great example. Imagine nobody wiped their ass and we're in modern civilization, and then you're like, yo, I specifically remember this world where we used to use like disposable paper and wipe our ass and flush it down this thing. And it's like, I just came up with this fucking idea. Wait a second. Anybody else remember that? Oh, a couple people do? Okay, well, I'm going to be the one that decides to introduce toilet paper. Like, how come it never works in anybody's favor?
Like that movie where the guy was singing all the Beatles songs. What was it called? I don't remember what it's called. Anyway, Saturday or something like that, and the guy was singing all the Beatles songs, and nobody remembered that they were even there. And then the guy got to meet John Lennon or something like that because he didn't die as one of the Beatles. Yeah.
Hold tight. I just came up with the loophole, and you know what? We have the viewer base that would test the waters.
Okay.
This is how you exploit a Mandela effect. Okay, the most popular one, the Fruit of the Loom one. You see.
Okay.
What you do is you create a clothing brand with the same exact logo with the cornucopia. Okay. And then when they sue you for copyright infringement, you say, well, that's funny because you went on the record always and repeatedly saying that you've never used that as your logo ever. Okay. And you don't have a trademark on it.
Yeah.
And then be like, and you know what? We're just going to use that logo and no words. And that will be our brand. And everybody's going to see it and be like, fuck it, I knew it, and buy it. And you're going to go out of business.
Kind of like Hot Tub Time Machine where they go back and make it Lugal instead of Google.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly like that. Well, I mean, that's funny because they had future knowledge and then they went back in time. See, this is literally taking some, like, because you know that those Fruit of the Loom people are screwing with you because everybody knows that there was a cornucopia or cornucopia or whatever. Everybody knows that there was. So the fact that they're dicking around with the psychology of people just to like sit there and probably get themselves some, they'll be like, oh yeah, the fruit brand, I better just buy that because now I need to like look at see what the logo looks like. You know, it like buys them free advertising by denying it. So, go and stick it right back up their ass.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's pretty funny, man. That's pretty funny.
Fruit of the room. Yeah, exactly.
A fruit cup, dude. That's what that is in the gym.
Fruit of my loins. with the logo. You know what I mean? Like that would.
Oh my
And
god!
what do they
Dude.
make? Men's underwear. So that all of a sudden that just pretty much makes sense, doesn't
Dude, I'd make an underwear brand called Brass Balls and sell it.
it?
You know what I mean? Then everybody with a giant truck would buy it. 100% pure is what it says on there. You know what I mean? Different logos like that.
like cock nest.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, get
Literally
one to say insert hitch here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we skipped the whole. We were 2 hours late because we had the show without you guys. Chat. We had the show without you guys, and we already have now derailed and digressed, and that's all you
Yeah.
get today. We got all the heavy physics out of the way before amongst us.
Oh my god.
It's
that's
all right.
funny.
I don't know. I mean, man, you're in California. I can only imagine, but like, it's like 93 degrees here, man, and like 100% humidity, and I'm like wet from.
Oh, it's hot out here, dude. It's in the 90s, I think, in California. Yeah, and there's no cool breeze, nothing.
Yep, and
We're in the oven.
Simultaneously, I'm a claims examiner and a chicken farmer, evidently.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh man, yeah. Joe was out there playing with his cocks. We get it.
Yep, we got a few of them. Yeah. So I actually did something that was probably one of the most fascinating things I've ever done in my whole life. Recently, at least.
What's that?
I went to a livestock auction.
Okay.
All right, and I mean, do I look like the kind of guy that knows all about a livestock? Maybe I do. I don't know, but like, yeah, like.
So one of those you might pull it off.
Right. So we already had chickens and stuff, but we're like, oh, look, keep an eye out for some, a good deal on some more chickens, if whatever. Yeah, good chickens and 2 goats.
Dude, here, I'm sorry, here in California, man, that's just simply going to the swap meet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was there the other day with my granddaughter and my wife, and it was just like that. Like a whole section of it was like a petting zoo, take them home.
That's crazy. I got one of those. I got this. It's a big black cock. It's yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, it's
right?
Yeah, I've wanted one of these though since we got
Wow.
chickens. I was like, I want. So
you, Joe.
It's called no. It's called the I am Samani, right? Everything about them is black. It's highly unusual. Like they have black feathers, black eyes, black skin, black bones, black organs, black meat. The whole 9 yards. The whole entire thing is black. It's and it looks like a silhouette, man. It's crazy.
No, they're representing, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he did get right. They go full send on that being black thing. It's like Eddie Murphy in the 80s, like it's like Mike Tyson out of the Bronx,
Dude, I'm sorry. If your chicken turned into Eddie Murphy in the 80s, dude, I would just pull up a chair. I mean, that would be fucking hilarious, dude. You know what I mean? I'll be like, all right, dude, what are we smoking? Because this is awesome and I want to continue watching.
Yeah.
So,
for real. Yeah. So then I also got some other chickens that like I don't know, like I didn't really get a good look on them, and I don't know, like I kind of we felt compelled. Let's put it that way. Well, I didn't spend a lot of money on these things. They're only damn chickens in the first place. I mean, the black one did, that's a separate situation. But these ones, they were whatever. The cheap. Yeah, I get them home. I look at them. I'm like, God damn it. These things are not well, and I cannot let these things by my other birds.
oh, so, yeah. You watch it.
Yeah. So those ones are like, they're off to the side. I already looked at one. I'm like, I'm so sorry someone gave you you know, what they had gave me what they ought to have done, and I had to, you know, chuck it in the woods and whatever. I had to shake it. A cat tried to get him last night, and I thought it was a bobcat. Then it turned out it was a house cat, but I still shook him out of a tree. I don't know. That was it. That was entertaining. If you've never seen a cat fall out of a tree, like 40, 50 feet out of the air, like I know you love cats and everything. I knew the thing was going to be fine, but I'll tell you what, he's going to think twice about.
Oh yeah.
He's going to think twice about, you know, coming back. Cause I held the flashlight on him in that tree for like 20 minutes. He was scared shitless. And then I shook him out of the tree. Cause I was like, yo, this thing's going to climb out of the tree and go try for my chickens again. So
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I got a goat named Adam Sandler.
That's who you're yelling at.
I named him Adam Sandler because he had the goat, you know.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I've a you know, Jewish New Yorker goat.
Jewish New Yorker goat.
He's only somewhat funny sometimes, you know.
Nice. Holding on the money. No, I don't think he does that, does he, Adam Sandler? He keeps hiring the same people. He's got like a group.
Yeah, he's got a crew. I mean, honestly, I kind of enjoy his movies, but like, I mean, he's kind of funny. That's what I'm saying. He's kind of funny. But the goat,
some of them,
funny.
I'll be honest with you, man. There's no social, you know, uprising when you go out there to watch Adam Sandler. It's just cool. What was that?
My lights went ET on me.
Oh.
For a moment.
I was thinking, man, you got aliens showing up, Joe. They want your chicken.
Everything blinked. It was my computer monitor, my light. It was a full one simultaneously.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's the black chicken, I'm telling you. Actually, you know what it might be? It might be the chicken that I had to call out, you know? Maybe it thought it was some kind of voodoo sacrifice or something.
Oh. He's gonna come back and haunt you, yeah. It'll be the ghost chicken that runs around your room.
Oh, man, I felt so bad for that thing. I did not want to have to do that. There's a difference between, like, you know, if you're raising it for food, that's the concession that you make. And you know what? That's sort of what it is. We aren't eating any of these things. They're all damn pets. We don't even really eat eggs. You know, so it's like, you know, you buy it and so it was in such bad shape. And I was just like, oh, this is sad. I felt so bad that somebody even let it, that bird should have been put out like a while ago, you know? And somebody just like, was like, you know, what's a good idea? Let it live, put it in a cage and sell it. Oh, come on, man. That's not good.
Yeah. My brother's got chickens, man. He's got a couple acres, you know, I'm in Texas. And he's got some chickens he lets out and he has to get them back in, you know what I mean, before it gets too late for all the animals around the area, try to get them. Yeah. Well, he's got a bunch of eggs on his counter, man. So kind of crazy. I remember as a kid, we had a little chicken coop in the backyard. We had to go get the chicken eggs and everything else. But I never took a liking to it to buy the chickens.
I like them actually. They're really they're pretty. You know, they're pretty neat animals, actually. They're very chill. You know, they're relaxing. Like you can literally pick one up and put it on your lap and stuff, and just like sit there and chill. You know, like I raised them since they were chicks, so it's like okay.
Oh, there you go.
They know who I am.
I had to stop traffic once because a duck was going across this road with a bunch of little ducklings. And it was on a busy road, man. So I just parked my truck right in the middle, dude. Turn it out, turn the emergencies on. It's like, dude, you're going to see the big truck. You better stop. You know what I mean? And then just escorted them across and then just drove away. So, but you got to watch that stuff because they go out into the housing tracks and in the area where they make the little parks and stuff. They'll find something that's always kind of wet and stuff and lay the eggs there. And then go back across the road to get to the little, I don't want to call it a river. It's more like a trickle, you know, but you know what I mean? It's like a little wildlife area and there are trees and they preserved it. So, which I don't mind they do, but you know, it always worries me when you do that is the little chicks aren't big enough. So then you get, you know, different creatures to go in there and try to eat them whole. And it's cycle of life, I guess, but I don't like to see it.
No, I hear that. Well, you know what else tries to cross roads all the time though that has no business is turtles.
Turtles?
Like, yeah. Like, yo, what are you doing?
Yeah,
You
it's so
know?
slow.
What are you doing? This is like you are not gonna make it. It's not happening.
Well, I thought you could say squirrels because they don't make it half the time out here.
Well, that's
They
because they
stop.
like want to get hit. They can make it 10 times over, but they freeze and then they're clear of your car and you're already going around them, but they'll run right under your damn tire.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
yeah.
You could say that they're nuts. That's a really bad joke, Brad.
Oh man, we got all kinds of different animals out here, bro. Like I didn't think that raccoons were a thing and where I lived until like a family of raccoons showed up to eat the cat food. You know what I mean? And then the whole family was like, "Hey, watch out because there's raccoons outside." And these things aren't small. And then one decided, "Hey, I'm gonna go in through your cat door to the garage and I'm gonna sit in here." And it's basically my garage at this point. I'm like, "Nope, that's not gonna happen." So
Yeah.
I had to take my level and then make a little loop on the end and then nab him, put him out back outside. And I didn't hurt him or nothing, just get him out there and let him do his thing. But they're screwing up my air conditioner. Usually I have a rule. If you come into my garage and you're not supposed to be in here, you don't make it back out alive. You know what I mean? So it got lucky.
Yeah.
So
But
I think it was pregnant. It was just looking to have babies somewhere.
that'll go there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what New York has been lying about for probably decades now, but now that I've seen it with my own two eyes, I can confirm.
Oh,
But
what's that?
there are wolves in New York. Wolves.
Oh,
Totally. Not like, yeah, we have coyotes, yeah. But like I saw something dead on the side of the road the other day that unequivocally was a wolf. Unequivocally. And I've been seeing it all like, on Facebook and stuff, people post whatever. They're like, yo, saw this wolf, saw this wolf. Yeah, man, there's wolves here. Like big ass wolves. No joke. And DEC is like, oh, well, they denied it outright at first. They're like, there's none. Not even transient ones. They're not coming here. Then they couldn't deny it anymore because they found one dead on the side of the road. They did a DNA test, and it came back that it was a full blown wolf. And then they were like, well, it's a transient. There's no breeding population. It's just a male that came out of Michigan. It walked all the way from Michigan all by itself.
stupid explanations.
Yeah, they say the same thing about mountain lions here too. They're like, oh well, all the mountain lions that we either capture or we find dead on the side of the road, they don't live here. They were just passing through.
Oh, it's so messed up.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. New York State DEC will deny populations of animals that people are like, oh no, they're here. We see them all the time.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That doesn't surprise me because they always come up with some new animal that they go, oh, look, we thought this was extinct. It's like, well, not everybody probably did. You know what I mean?
Right? Are they just finding like the Tasmanian tiger? See, the Tasmanian tiger was like he dipped out into the fifth dimension for a little bit and then just decided to cross back recently. Like, he's one of the alien things. He's like a new Bigfoot.
Oh my God, dude. I love it, man. When they talk about Bigfoot and it disappears in the middle of nowhere, it's like, well, that's the ultimate dimensional thing, isn't it? Like they just phased out of your dimension.
So how does what we're saying right now with the animals and everything and DEC and denying them being around, right? How does this have to do with disclosure? Well, it does. And I'll tell you why. Because
Okay, go for it.
you have this systemic thing that we do, okay, specifically in the United States, but I'm certain that it's worldwide to a certain degree, where we have bureaucracies that are the authority. Okay. And you see these bureaucracies are all money grabs, right? So they're part of the budget. And in order for them to maintain these high budgets and or increase their budgets, they need to maintain this authority figure status, meaning that what they say is the definite, absolute, so on and so forth. But here's the actuality of it, is that they don't have the resources to be expert in any of it. They don't have the manpower, they don't have the reach, they don't have the funding, they don't have the anything, even when the funding's that vast, because at the end of the day, it's just a big cesspool of waste, all these agencies. So Ashton Forbes is going to hate me for this, and I'm sorry in advance, buddy, because I believe in you. But they become like the Ashton Forbes of the bureaucratic world, where like you're just going to talk about the same exact thing, even when the answer is right fucking there. You can show the actual answer, show it for reals, right? But you can never do that, because then the story ends. And then what do you do? What do you do when the story ends? What happens when MH370 isn't a mystery anymore, right? Well, then what does he talk about? That's rough for him. So I get it. It would be counterintuitive to sit there and invite something in that's going to prove it all out for him, right? And these agencies do the same exact thing. They can never really, they have to say that they have the answer enough to continue to be the expert and authority in something, but can never fully resolve all the problems, or else then why the hell do you need more? Yeah. And that's where this disclosure shit goes, is swept into all these things where you'll have agencies be like, you could call 911 and be like, yo, a spaceship just landed on my frigging front lawn. They'd be like, you're literally out of your mind. We're going to send someone, but it's not a police car. It's a fucking ambulance. Yeah. And you're going on a 96-hour hold for evaluation. Like, that's just the systemic issue with it, right? If they start humoring stuff like that, then they become the laughing stock, and they're not about to do that.
Nope, not at all. Yeah, I think he gets close to the point, but then kind of misses it. So I think it's great that they do a lot of research on that show, though, too. But it just seems like right there somewhere, it's like a swerve. Like, and I don't think he's doing it at all. It's just the information given, right? I think it's just like the psyop takes over and the words don't mesh anymore and the alignment doesn't happen. And you're like, but you gave a great title and then started off good, and then the alignment never happened. And I don't think that's a fault of his at all. Hey, I want to say thank you to Darren. Right on, brother. Dude, yeah. 10K, we hit it. Yeah, that's right, brother.
Thank you, Darren. Yep, and congratulations, and thank you guys for your unwavering love and support. We certainly would never have made that happen without you.
Absolutely. Yeah, 10,000. That speaks to you guys watching, man. Not to me. That's for sure.
Right on. And not for anything. This has been a long time in the making, man. Nathan's been at this for years now, and I think it took him as long to get 1,000 viewers, or 1,000 subscribers, as it then took to get the remaining 9,000. That's a long road.
Yeah,
and that's how it goes sometimes. But hopefully, we could say the same exact thing about the next milestone, God willing. So I believe it.
Well, I was kind of hoping it would start the clock going a little faster. You know what I mean? After they hit the 10. I don't put out that many videos, so I testing the waters today a little bit, throwing out some stuff. We'll see. I was gonna say, Joe, I'm getting ready for Tesla Tech.
Yeah, but so how about that sensor array, dude? Wow.
Oh, dude, that's sick, isn't it?
Yo, light speed, right on, dude. That program interface looks nice too. Like, very nice.
Oh yeah, well, he said I can change the background in it from the spider web to Old Man Builds and just put a little, make it black and a little thing in the corner.
Oh, that's cool. But I'm saying, the interface though is like intuitive, and it's intuitive, and it looks like it really does a really nice job of. It reminds me of one of those like hologram projector things, like the way that it scans from each array and then builds it three-dimensionally in like a dynamic space. Like that's exactly what, like, first of all, I mean, that as far as like testing material, like is concerned, like that's mind-blowing. Like I haven't seen anybody on any level actually bring to the table that degree of data testing with it actually reconstructing it physically.
Yeah, let me tell you how smart this guy is, Joe. So he's making a video game, right? And in the middle of his video game, he watches the show in the background, or you know what I mean? And then he says, "Oh, this guy wants this thing. Well, let me just look at it." And he just kind of tossed it in his head a couple times. And then he goes, "Oh, well, I'll just build it." So he goes on there, and in computer code, I get this thing from him on a build list, right? And it's line by line where everything goes, right? I'm thinking there's no schematic here. But this is how smart he is. He's able to build it from that, totally from scratch, not a bit of software in there, not a bit of hardware, and he's able to populate everything in the exact way that we described it on the show, you know what I mean, to what we were looking for. And,
Yep.
And then not only that, he took the paper that we wrote together on the code for correction, and he put it in there in order to be able to check against it once we're done. It's literally, Joe, crazy what's in this thing and how smart that guy is. Dude, I felt like an idiot asking him, "Oh, you know what I mean? What do we do here?" You know what I mean? I was the dumb guy in the room, but I was happy to be that dumb guy because I got a program sitting in my garage that's unbelievable.
It's awesome, and I know we keep on saying it, but what's going to come out of it is going to be epic. And it does take it to this next level, because usually when you're dealing with laboratory testing to this degree, you're dealing with data sets specifically, and then you would have to graph out all your data sets to end up with some kind of minutia visualization of actually what's going on. And then when you bring that into over time, right, meaning the variability of it, now it just becomes variables changing on a grid. And it just, yes, you could look at that, know what it means, and kind of put it into your mind's eye and imagine it. But it's not the same as being able to see it and click around it. It's even when it is, it's not. Like, and anybody with the engineering mind where you could like be like, here's the problem, here's what I'm trying to do, close your eyes, think, I do this, and it's kind of building in your head. You could kind of do that, right? But it's still not the same, because if you're able to physically do it and be like, yeah, cool, now all of a sudden you're able to then take the visualization, match it with the data, see exactly what it means, and then say, this is what's got to change. And then probably, I believe if you told me, right, you could then simulate it, right? Like with the change criteria. So you simulate it with your change criteria, and now you know what it's going to do before you even waste your time doing it. So it takes the speculation out of it.
Once it becomes predictable, pretty much. And then that mirror thing is going to go right along with it, because he put a feature in there to remove the background of everything. So once you do that, now you can overlay that right directly on top of it with all the other things going on. And you can literally see it in real time what the gas pressures are doing and everything. And you get the readout from the gas pressure. So it's like
the stacked overlays. That's like, it's awesome, because you get to see exactly what the correlations are.
Yeah.
Like there's no, right, with the overlays and being able to click things on and off, different dynamics, different measures, you get to see exactly what happened here to make that happen there. You get to see exactly how it expands and what's making it push out. What other variable is coming into play, causing that to happen. And of course, we kind of know the physics, we know the engineering aspects of it, and then we see what we replicate. But like ever knowing whether the pressure zoning is ending here and how it's building out and what kind of gradient, what that measure is, we just don't, like, that's left to speculation. Like you can make an observation that says, it increases, and then you have a high energy density here, and then it'll drop off, and then you have a higher energy density here. But you don't know what that energy density even necessarily is,
Mhm.
and you don't know how steep the drop off is either. Sometimes, like when you do Tesla coil stuff with radiant energy, I think it's a great example. You take your gas tube, it lights up, it dims, then all of a sudden, then you come into another band, it might light up again, right? But what level is it dropping to kill it?
Yeah.
Because I don't.
And
And
well, yeah. Well, there's another cool feature, Joe. So if you run baselines and everything, it cancels out background noise. Okay, so check this out. So when you run multiple systems, you're going to get a lot of background noises, right? You get one from the high voltage, one from the Tesla coil, one from the motors running, stuff like that, right? If you're able to cancel out all the other ones, the high voltage and that, and you're just looking for the motors, you're going to be able to pull that up, and it's going to be able to pull the motors just for that, right? So now you're going to see that alone just on the motor set, but then it's going to give you each one of them like that. So now he's got this oscilloscope that's like an 8 different line oscilloscope, not a 2-line like you usually see. So we got 8 lines to deal with, and then it's going to be able to specifically point out which one's which. So one set for the Tesla coil, one set for high voltage, you know what I mean? And it's able to tell you where the beat frequency hits throughout all of them.
I mean, so if you have 8 lines and it's picking it up from different points, your overlay is going to be it's basically advanced imaging. It's slicing it up like an MRI would, and then stacking it, and making a 3-dimensional idea of it. And yeah, I mean, maybe even more than 3-dimensional, because you're taking it from so many different zones. When you see where it dies off and you realize that there's a missing geometry, you actually realize that there's something there where you're not seeing it, right? So sometimes what you don't find is very important too.
I want to say thank you to Darren for One Old Man Builds membership. Thank you, brother.
The best.
Check this out, Joe. So what it does is it aligns my beat frequency. So I'm missing something somewhere. Either a motor's going a little faster at certain points and a little slower, so it doesn't align properly. So now when we do this, we're going to be able to see what the alignment is. Is there one that kicks out every so many rotations? Is there a certain rotation I got to hit it in? You know what I mean? Like, so every 4 rotation, it lines up perfect.
This thing does it all, right? It does everything on the oscilloscope with frequency, right? It does voltage and stuff like that too. Light does thermal,
4K cameras, yeah. It's got the heat in there, the thermal. You know what I mean? It's got the gas. Oh man, what was it in there? LiDAR. It was checking out LiDAR in there. Dude, yeah, everything you wanted. And here was a cool thing. He is doing everything with Sean as well. So Sean gets everything in the program to test on the RAV and everything else. And he said you could do it as well. So it's a group thing. We all, you know what I mean, would have it right in front of us to see it. You know what I mean? Whoever's in our team, he's okay with it. And we can all get the stuff and build it.
All get down on it. I mean, even if I just get like data and stuff and I start playing with all the different stuff, I may be able to have a breakthrough just in the analytics of it in itself. Because the analytics is actually going to be like, like you could have all the data in the world, but it's what you make of it, right?
He connected in there for it to go to AI when you put in your code, and it'll go to your AI data set, and it'll be able to populate everything like you're talking about. So you take that and you take your Lorentz force images you were coming up with and put that with the data. Oh my God, dude, it's like killer. You get all kinds of cool stuff.
I mean, not to mention what's interesting about it is this should be able to verify my VBM imaging, which, by the way, like the implications of, see, I know it works. You know, we know enough to know that what the generalized field geometries are, you know, and so we know it works, but then having some empirical evidence to prove that it works, the implications of that are fucking wild, because what that means, okay, is that everything that, and what we know, but what it proves, right, is that everything that you've been told about the photon, okay, is absolute garbage, because the only thing the sensor's picking up on VBM, okay, is light. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
So if it's able to pick out the electromagnetic fields, the flows, the vectoring, okay, and all of that, you know, and they're saying that light, generally speaking, is not impacted by these fields and different flows and geometries. Well, confirming the VBM testing would very well prove otherwise, when you can just simply, you know, again, it's a process that I go through, but I'm not really manipulating the photo so much as I'm just using tools to sit there and have it organize the data that's already there into simplest form.
Yeah.
It's what I have it do. You know, so I use what do you call it? Sharpening. You know, I use sharpening. And if you sharpen an image, what it does is it starts looking for the average in the area of the light.
Okay.
Okay, so whether it's color or value, it starts looking for the average in the area. And if you just continue to average it down to a lesser sum, to a lesser sum, to a lesser sum, what you end up with is jumbles of thing, you know, like, and barely any image, right? But you end up with angular biases, right? That's how I figured out that this would work, is that once you bring it down to its simplest form and you figure out these angular biases of the average that's created in the photo data, that actually shows photonic structuring, you know, and that's how then you can interpret that into the flows. And when I did it manually, you know, it was crude, you know, but I traced it out and did it myself, and it was crude. But then when I asked AI to do it, and I gave it a very, very specific prompt, very, very specific as to what I needed it to look at and what to do, it was able to then take it and take my caveman drawing and actually follow each bias perfectly, average it out further, and then say, here's where your lines are, and here's what your vectoring looks like. So crazy.
So here's the thing, Joe. He's made it available to us as we're testing it to give him all the feedback. He encourages us to write notes on everything so that he can change the program to fit what we're saying, right?
Right.
So this is specifically what we're looking for. This didn't work this way, but it works this way, right? So by the time we're done, we're going to be able to see every sheath zone. You know what I mean? Just anything you could think of to go out there and what to look for and how we can find it. What's the sensor to get it to there, right? Just stuff like that. And we'll have to do probably a lot of sub-experimenting to get us there. But he allowed for us to do that, how we can make the boxes look different or whatever, you know what I mean, to better show what he's doing, what image needs to be what next to what, you know what I mean, as you're showing it, things like that. He's given us all that. And then he said, and I don't know which way he's going to go, if he's going to open source the code or not. Okay. So if he open sources it, then everybody gets to add to it, build their own. The thing he did do was he took everything I have on one of those little pillars and he put it all onto one board. So everything's on one board. So you could just order it from PCBWay and then get it, you know, sent. So he could sell them outright each board. so that people can not worry about how to wire it, how to mess with it. They could pop on the program and in 5 minutes be running. That's cool. So
that really is, yeah. And if it's
I told
open
them
source,
if
the customization of it is like, you know, if
I
doesn't
told
take
them
like right. I mean, people with very little experience, if as long as they know what they want,
yeah.
you could get it programmed into it just by asking the right questions these days.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. You know, I told him, hey, if you want to make money on the boards, dude, I'll just do a commercial for you every show. You know what I mean? For letting us do this. Yeah, you know what I mean? Whatever it takes, dude, if it makes you money and we get full access to this stuff, dude, that's all I want. I don't need anything else.
I think the Tesla Tech, demonstrating it along with what the demonstration actually is, right? Not only is that the sales point, no, the proof point for the experimentation that you're doing, that we're talking about, that to prove all these things out, but it's also a, hey, look at the nifty gadget that shows you, and there's a lot of people in that room that do this sort of work that would be very beneficial to, and they're about to be jealous.
If I can show the fields on anything, even if it's a little ball and I can show the fields around it, man, and how things break out the right way and what they look like, that room would go nuts, man. Because they all want to see that. They don't. That's the part that's missing, is they can't see everything they want to see. But if you see somebody that has all the gadgets, you're like, okay, how much can I order today? Right? It'd be like, let me go talk to the money people and let's get this arranged.
And this is the difference. And the array could very well be the thing that brings it to the extreme level, because the biggest problem with people that do what we do, okay, is that the first thing that they get met with is getting hit with the equation situation. They're like, well, what's the math, right? So then you have to go back to the drawing board and you have to get all the data, and then you have to get all the math. And you come back with all the math, and they say, that's cool, but you don't have the actual measurements. You just now have the equations. And you're then doing the formula to show the result. And that's not empirical, because you need hard proof.
Right. So you wanna see it, you want the math, you want the math done, you want the graphs, you want the charts, you want the imaging, everything to align. So that when somebody looks at it and they go, is this BS or not? They have all the information, they know how the systems run. You know what I mean? They're able to come down and test it themselves. You have it. So I think that's the greatest thing, but it'll clear up a lot of mysteries. Like I was talking on the channel today, Joe, that the cold energy, negative energy, the radiant energy, it's all just ions. We literally have a magnetosphere and an ionosphere, right? I mean, what do you think's going on? We're dealing with the opposite side of the equation here. It's ions. The Tesla hairpin circuit is all ions. It's breaking the magnetodielectric to ions. So it'll show that though. It'll literally point it out to you and say, hey, this is what it is. And now they'll understand it. It's like completely different. It just takes the mystery out of it. All cold energy experiments are based on that. And
So,
that's a real simple
you're
way to
talking
do
about
it.
ions in your video earlier today. And
Yeah.
I mean, right. There's huge misunderstandings about this stuff. It's like, and
Oh, yeah.
it all boils down back to the same thing. And it's like a very Ken Wheeler thing to say, particles of what?
Yeah.
Particles of what? And when you kind of break it down with that phrase in mind, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. I mean, an ion is high energy density, high potential energy density in a high energy state.
Yeah.
See that? Wait a second. Why? Why energy density potential? Because it's matter. And why is it potential? Well, because it hasn't been turned into pure energy yet to be returned and leave its heat signature behind to become an upper dimensional, less dense object, so to speak. It's a super fascinating thing. It's in a state of it's energy in a high state of compression, but due to that compression, it actually is in a potential state because it reaches what you said, right? Which is a stability point. It reaches
Yeah.
some kind of, it's not a pure equilibrium, okay? It's always offset and it's not always perfectly stable, some things more than others, right? But it reaches a stability point where it's fixed in its position and in its structure.
Yeah.
Well, if you take it, so it's not exuding any energy. You have to release that energy through high excitation, which is exactly what bringing it into the high energy state is. You can't bring a lump of matter into that high energy state like that because the thing would be oscillating so radically, you know what I mean, that like it's impossible. So the only way that it could do it is to break the chemical bonds in the first place, which is how it ends up becoming a smaller piece and becoming in a high energy state in the first place. See, people don't understand it, how simplistic it is. You have to be able to, you know, if you thought of it all like a piece of sandstone, it would actually help your mind, right? Like if
Yeah.
all matter was just like a piece of sandstone, where you understand that this lump of thing that you're holding is actually just a whole bunch of other little objective things bound together, right?
Mhm.
It's like you can never bring that whole rock into like some kind of insane state, right? If you wanted to heat that rock up, for instance, to red hot, it would take a very long time and a lot of energy, right? And even then, maintaining that temperature from crust to core, okay, would be very, very difficult. But if you take one speck of the sand off of it, and then you heat that speck of the sand up, you could get that thing friggin' red hot end to end very quick, with much less energy. Well, what do
Yeah.
you think it's doing when you sit there? You take a knife and you just scrape the sand off, and then you heat that sand up. Now that sand's all hot. If you scrape some more on top, now that sand's all hot, right? It's kind of like the analogy to it, but it's how my mind visioned it.
Yeah. Well, it also makes sense when you start thinking about the nuclear thing because they're not splitting an atom.
No.
And it makes it interesting in the way that you would think of ancient Egypt and ancient cultures. How do I get this giant rock to move? Well, I need to vibrate it. How do I do it? Well, if you understand that ions are spread out throughout the entire thing, all you need to do is compress them inside there and get a vibrational state out of it when it creates the resonance zones outside of
And I
it.
was about to say that, and that's where the harmonic resonances all kick in.
Right.
Because once you turn the stone into a receiving antenna,
There you go.
you know, then now it's receiving. Then when it comes into, this is where the control comes in. When it comes into resonance after it's a receiver, it then also becomes a transmitter too as part of the system. But it has to reach that point of you know, within an optimal resonance band, you know, in order to then become a transmitter as well. Until then, it's just a receiver. So we know that some antennas, well, first of all antennas will send and receive, right? But
Yeah.
the way that they're hooked up is generally either to send or receive.
You see, this is the thing. So now what's anti-gravity? I mean, it becomes very simple, Joe. If we know that about a rock, we understand everything. That it's just the ion effect and what we're doing in the center. We took Hutchinson and said, okay, if he sits there and compresses the ions, what does it do? Because of the counter rotation going on in the core, it tears the iron, it tears the metal apart.
Mhm.
And it becomes very simple understanding. You're going, oh, he did that. Then he put it in an ion field, and what happened? It saturated with ions, and what happened? It lifted off the ground. Okay, there's a lot to this. It becomes very simplistic. How did Leadskin do it? How did he get those Cora Castle built? He just simply put out the frequencies in order to create it around the ions that were there, and he made the field. Then you get over to the monks. What they do? They sung and they went over there and they hit the, whatever tuned instruments they had in order to create the resonance around it, and then it builds it. We go to the Ark of the Covenant. What happened? It was the same thing as Tesla's earthquake machine. They got it in resonance, went around the thing, permeated the air with the resonance itself, and then they got it to break. But why? It's because it's a gas environment and you're trapping things in gas zones and you're not realizing it. It's a reason a Tesla coil can work 15 feet away.
Yeah. I mean, Ashton actually had it the other day. You know, he was saying, everybody's so focused on the thing that goes or the thing that is, but realistically it's environmental conditions. I mean, he didn't say it in those exact words, but that was the summation of the point he was trying to make. And that's something that we've discussed continuously, is setting the conditions. And once the conditions are set, okay, and you change the conditions of the environment, now all of a sudden whatever is in that environment, okay, has a different relationship, okay, different ratios, okay, that have to be attained for certain other things to happen. And that's how you work it in your advantage.
I got something for you, Joe. I mean, you want to know what thrust is in this? We're always talking about a vacuum in physics, right? So let me just show you this. This is the perfect example of what they should be understanding. Hold on. It changed on me. Go back. Watch, they just let the smoke through. Keeps going on. That is immediate thrust right there. When you use the vacuum to your advantage, you can get immediate thrust out of it. That's
right. I mean, first you saw the smoke or the fog, right? You saw that it was actually in a lower pressure state, right? Because it started traveling to the point of ignition prior to ignition.
Yep.
But then you have a much higher energy density state. So you switched it from pressure on one side of an equation in a potential state to actual energy density. See, and that's where the paradigm shift happens in that situation. I agree though. I mean, that's exactly what the deal is.
I mean, we keep talking about a vacuum and stuff, and it's pretty simple. If you got the RAV and it's creating a vacuum, we're simply just going to aim it one direction and release it. That's about as simple as it gets, man. You collapse the bubble. You close down the vacuum, and boom, you propel everywhere. Yeah,
yep.
but that's what I'm saying. He said, Yanni says oxygen needed. Well, just think about it. You deal with oxygen every day. It's right in front of us. We're breathing it in. We'd be dead without it. You know what I mean? It's all around us. It permeates everything that we do. As a matter of fact, it probably takes our vision and changes it where we can't see stuff. It's probably the reason we can't see UV. It's probably all the oxygen molecules around you. It's pretty simple. If it's there for the environment to use it. If you get out to space and there's a different environment to use it. If it's water, you know what I mean? It's kind of simple.
Well, you're not wrong, because UV represents potential energy, okay, and infrared represents spent energy.
Yeah.
Okay, like thermal energy, meaning that the energy has already actually been exhausted and is in a state of full-on diffusion that it'll forever be in, and there's nothing that you can do to actually turn that heat into something else usable. You could heat other things with the heat as a secondary reaction, but the heat itself is forever. It cannot be transmuted into energy again, which is why it's the signature of the matter leaving. That's why. You're never going to get material out of the heat again, because the heat is no longer material. It's energy.
But that's why they call cold energy experiments energy potential in the ion form, in the UV form, because that's what it is. We're in a cold plasma field right now.
Right. The thing is that if you bring the potential into excitation without having it leave the equation, then you do not have the thermal. It always leaves the equation through resistance. Okay, some kind of resistance. And that's like what the deal is. It's like, when something explodes and you see a fireball, okay, all of that pressure that's being released okay, is still being resisted by its ambient environment that's pressing back on it. So then that is what gives you your thermal
Well,
from
but
it,
if you structure the air in front of it, then you have no inertia to hit,
of course.
and you get a massive force. Yeah, and you go flying.
Without a doubt. I mean, but we already know this. You know, look at drafting, right? Racers drafting.
Yeah,
You're using aerodynamics of somebody else who's conditioned the air in front of you already into a state of coherence where there's a low pressure zone behind it of structured air that's already flowing that your car can just sit there and zip right through without having the drag restriction of the vehicle creating it, because they're the one pressing it out in the first place. And slipstreaming is like, that's real stuff. I mean, if you
Yeah.
fall into somebody's slipstream, I mean, you will almost immediately accelerate rapidly, because you're no longer subject to that particular drag. Obviously, because it's not creating high enough differentials, you know, because of the speed and aerodynamic situation, it's not perfect. So you don't fall into a zero resistance, but it's so greatly reduced that you will immediately, like your car, let's say that it's drag limited, right? At 190 miles an hour or something, you know, you're in a fast car. Oh, if you get behind somebody who's cooking with fire too, you know, your 190 drag limitation falls right out of the equation once you fall into their draft. So, you know,
so interesting how that works. Yeah, I don't think that they put that together well. Like, you can't say, I don't want to say this. If you get to the point where you have a superconductor, you're at a state of zero. That's not where you want to be. You need entropy in order to move things in this environment. You need entropy to cycle. You need the air of the energy in the air to push into your system. Because every time you create a 0 point, it creates a magnetic field because it has to. So then it creates entropy. Your hot air goes in, gets cycled to cool air. You know what I mean? It goes like this. So
yeah, it's just
you're always
convection
pulling.
currents. It's just,
Yeah.
But that's all this stuff ever is anyway. We talk
But
about
that-
it all the time. You have a torus, but then a spherical torus, not a
Mhm.
donut. Actually, you know what? I've mentioned Ashton now for 5 times this episode, but I'm going to do it one more time because he said something the other day that we've known all along. Okay, and it was
Mhm.
one of our major arguments to do with Rav. Okay, and he
Okay,
said
go
that
ahead.
it's a tear-shaped torus. That is the efficient. It's the way you get it in the structure, and it doesn't mean tear-shaped meaning like a actual tear. It just means an asymmetric sphere. And we know when we create the RAV that we have the asymmetric sphere because the sphere itself is pretty round, okay? But it's always chubbed out at the equator. And because it is direct, it has a direct correlation to the anode arc, okay? There's that force that pulls it always up in and into the arc. So it's always a squatting teardrop torus is the point because it's
I think
layered.
we showed that.
Every single RAV experiment shows it because you have your anode, you have your arc, and at the end of your arc, you know, it's a very short arc, okay? But then you have your RAV, and the RAV consolidates into that tip of the arc just outside the anode. So it's
I agree.
always a teardrop. It's always a teardrop.
No, I think I pointed that out when we removed the background. Remember, it came down, and then it hit the swirl, and then boom, right back up. Yeah.
And the whole idea of that is because it's in equilibrium, but it's an asymmetric equilibrium. You know, and we've said that all along because, you know, here, if on one side of the equation you have you know, watermelons, you know, and that's one of your things, right? And then on the other side, you have apples, right? If you have 1 apple to 1 watermelon, well, I have 1 to 1. We're equal, right? Because 1 and 1. Well, no, a watermelon is significantly more substantial than an apple, right?
Okay.
So there's that, and that is the ratio, you see. If you do say actually they reach stability, 1 apple is worth exactly 1 watermelon, right? There's your ratio right there as to the relationship. If the value equals out, just because they're not the same size, the same density, the same weight, and all those things, right?
Uh-huh.
If 1 equals 1, as far as this ratio is concerned, then the difference between them is the ratio. That's what I'm saying. So it's always offset differential asymmetry to create the equilibrium state. Okay, and by doing so, that allows for the non-equilibrium state to occur, which is your separation of the parts, right? Which is the significant thing that we're doing. Because the equilibrium state's easy. That's lighting a match in a room and having the heat from the match, when it's blown out, dissipate into the room, and then it changed 1/100th of a degree in the room, so now it's equal, right? It's equalized out. Well, that's not it. What we're doing is we're saying, cool, this matches 400 degrees. So we're going to take 400 degrees here, and then we're going to take the cold out of the room, and the cold out of the room is below a certain threshold of the average or the ambient. You see the math that would have to go on, and then you would say, oh, okay, that number's 50 degrees, right? So now your 2 pieces are, you have 50 degrees on one side and you have 400 whatever on the other, and then that's the exchange between the two, except they trade off equally without ever reaching the equilibrium. It's weird stuff. It's what the RAV does, though.
Okay, check this out. I want to show you something, if I can pull it up here.
Right. Aaron says non-equilibrium drives cell growth and dilation, and I agree. That's exactly why we see structuring everywhere you look when it comes to RAV. You have the energy side of the structuring, you have the material side of the structuring, high energy density state, low energy density state, and it all cymatically breaks up into its own crystallization.
So check this out, Joe. I don't think this is probably as accurate as it should be for what this thing is, but I want to show it to you in this way. You see the wings? Say if you put a RAV over here and you put a RAV over here in between these wings right here, right? It's the way they come down in mutual inductance. So they come down both to the center core, you know what I mean, right here of a bifilar coil, and then another coil right here where it looks like this is energy extraction instead of the part that you grab onto,
yes,
right?
I see it. I get it. The power of God is in a moonshine still.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's the back and forth that's important.
Yes, of course.
That's the important part of the energy itself, right? It's not the donut. The donut's the gas portion. It's the cheap man stuff, right? You want the core. You want to take advantage of the core, and when it goes back through this to get to the other side to pop it open, then it goes through and it creates boom, an amount of energy in there, right? But now you're taking all of the energy losses, which is still a huge amount, and taking it, and then you simply put liquid on the outside. You know what I mean? And then it holds it in. Not liquid, but mineral oil.
Yeah.
So it makes,
I saw something the other day, and it reminds me of this, right? I saw lightning strike the the Washington Monument?
okay.
Yeah. I mean, we're all intelligent to understand the implications of it in general, right? Because, it's an obelisk, and the thing is entirely made of stone. And the type of stone that it's made out of is purely insulated. So what interest does lightning have to hit the Washington Monument? Well, you see what I mean? It's freaking, it's crazy. There's no there's no reason in the world, okay, if it wasn't pulling energy from the ground, that it would ever be struck because it's non-conductive. It doesn't matter how high it is. And people were like, "Oh, wow! Did you see that? It hit the Washington Monument." I'm like, "Yeah, it did, because it's an obelisk."
Yeah.
You know, the thing. It's literally what it was meant to do. And in fact, whether or not lightning is ever hitting it or not at any given moment, it's actually still always doing the same thing. It's always it. You just don't see the lightning, but that
Right.
energy exchange with the fucking atmosphere is always there with it. Always.
Okay, hold on. I think I might have had something. I think I watched the same thing as you. Let me see if I did.
I don't know. I watched lightning strike and all sorts of crazy stuff, and it was just illuminating.
Was it this video?
Yes, it was. That was the video. Yep,
That's so
we're on the
cool.
same algorithm, bro.
Oh, look at that.
Smoke that palm tree
Oh,
because wood's so conductive.
that would be a trip, dude. I'd freak out if I was him.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. This is the one though. This is the video.
Oh, that's awesome.
There was one that was crazy, yo. It looked like some spaceship beam stuff. It was nuts. That's really cool.
Oh, here's the monument
Yeah.
right there.
Right there. So it struck the Washington Monument. Like, why?
Look at that.
Why? It wasn't going toward it until it was. You see that much? That's because it was going and it just pulls the energy right in, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, you get to layer current in the ground as soon as it hits the obelisk.
That's it.
Yeah, it's what makes things grow.
But the whole entire atmosphere is always doing that with the obelisk. It's only under these conditions that you're going to get the extravagant lightning bolt to hit it. But there's nothing about the Washington Monument. It's made out of granite. There's nothing about it that should say "strike me with lightning."
Right. Yeah, that lightning video is wicked, dude.
That
Look at
one,
that
dude,
one.
yo, that's sick. Yo, that
Okay.
thing looked like a missile.
Boom.
For real. Yo, you see the thing go down and up again? Check it out. Yo, roll that back one more time. It goes down and up. Yeah, you could see the high energy density. It's like ball lightning traveling down it and then back up. Look.
Oh, yeah, it definitely did it.
I've never seen it travel back up. What's up with that?
Yeah.
That's the most interesting one.
Boom, right back up.
Well, high energy density ground state. That's what it is. It's just your other side of energy. You just returned it.
Oh, that one was weird. Oh, yeah, don't be on the balcony that day.
Yep. Woo! It scared the crap out of that guy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We went on to another video.
Nice. Uniform in there.
Yeah, that lightning's wicked, man. It just destroys things.
Oh, yeah. You peeled it like a banana.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, of course, like hitting trees makes so much sense, right? Because you know that the tree is an active exchange with the ground and the ground energy, but also is in direct connection with the atmosphere, and it gets its energy from both the ground, which is why, I mean, there's certain nutrients, right, that the plant needs for its cellular mechanisms, right? But when the soil is in that condition, is just as important as the plant being in that condition with those same minerals because it has to do with conductivity. So, if you have a situation where your ground is mineralized and conductive, and then therefore your plant structures its cells with those minerals and becomes a transmitter of that energy throughout it, well, then we know that those fertilizers make the plants healthy and grow rapidly, because the exchange rate with the atmosphere and the solar energy coming in, okay, is the other side of that equation. And we all know that. But we could treat lightning like some big fucking mystery because scientists have a very, very hard time with it. They have a very hard time with it.
They really?
Yeah.
It looks just like a power plant.
They try to say that they focus almost nothing on the ground and everything to do with where it comes from.
Well, that's not right.
Well,
we say come up from the ground when lightning strikes.
Come up from the ground, but that, as far as I'm aware, they theorized that for a long time. Before they ever saw it and confirmed it, it was just woo. And that was only recently.
Really?
Yeah.
They're so far behind.
They say that high conductive structures, were the favored path of least resistance. And they say that that all it is the fluke of having the high energy state reach a certain point where it's also in proximity to something that is going to provide it with a path of least resistance to reach ground. And then they treat that relationship like they explain to electricians what a ground wire does in your electrical system. That's how they've always explained it. That's how they explained it in any physics that I ever learned or saw. That it just was that lightning seeks ground and seeks it through path of least resistance, and seeks it through conductors. And then that's why they said, well, if you have rubber tires in your car, you're insulated from the ground, you're safe. They treat it like they teach electricians about what a ground line does. But we all know that that's not what a ground line does either, because
God,
that's like a whole nother story for another day, I suppose.
Joe, the ground line literally builds out in rings, and if you put one foot on one line of the ring and then another foot on the other line of the ring, you're toast. So they tell you to hop out of the thing, right? Well, that's resonance in rings. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out.
It's because you're connecting the sky and the ground at that point, or the equivalent of the sky and the ground.
Yeah.
Because we're using the hot side of electric and the ground is the cold side of electric. And, in current. If you want to think about it. I hate the word electric just for
that's what bugs me, and I don't understand. It's like it all points to one thing, but instead of calling out that one thing, you go in left field. It's what drives me nuts. It's why I have trouble watching people on the show, because I go, oh man, it's gonna be a great topic, right? They're gonna get to it. They're gonna finally say the words, right? And then boom, off to the left, or right. And I'm like, dude, I'll never watch your show again. If you can't see that, I'm done.
Well, so how does ball lightning form then if we just use what we just said about lightning? But then we take in the relationship, the ground energy and the atmospheric energy and the discharge being the anode and the positive. Well, how does a RAV form? So you need a high energy potential, okay, in the negative state. So it needs to be in a state of diffusion but high density. Right? So when you have the high density energy potential of the ground and it's accumulated at the point where the connection is also going to be made because the conditions are set, the exchange occurs, but the exchange becomes sustained, okay, because of the density level of the ground, which it's not typically in, which is why it's a rare occurrence, because usually it's in a ambient diffuse state generally. Okay, but if you have a point where the conditions are right, where it's high density level potential, that connection is made, it sustains long enough in an exchange, like where we saw the energy right there go back up. And you notice how that lightning bolt lasted much longer than all the other ones. Okay. When it does that, it creates magnetism. Okay. Now you have your two fields crossing, your magnetic component kicks in, and then all of a sudden you end up with your compressed residuals in the center through the exchange, which is your ball. And because because you're dealing with such extraordinary voltages and amperages and potential levels, like orders of magnitude way beyond what we're doing, it's sustained even after it diffuses out because it's just stuck in it's high enough energy density in that magnetic compression zone that it's able to sustain the magnetic compression of itself for a while until it ultimately, it has to go somewhere. But if you look, it seeks, right? So what does it seek? Well, it seeks for something to enter into. But that's because it found a quasi not equilibrium state again, right? Not in the sense that of common use of the word, but it found sustained stability in itself. So now it's going to seek something to enter, which it does. It tries.
Well, if you consider ball lightning a RAV, I don't consider a RAV. I feel it more like the satellite of a RAV, where we already see it in the zone right there where the clouds are. That we already have a sheath layer, and it's just it loops around it in the ions in there that are charged up in the atmosphere. And then once that thing dissipates and the amount of energy goes down a little bit, it just goes wherever it wants. It no longer couples.
Yeah.
So it made its own energy for a while.
It's the point I'm making is that when you're dealing with those types of high energy levels and potentials and that level of exchange, it doesn't become surprising at that point that it could sustain a field, a magnetic field.
Oh yeah. That's a lot of energy.
That's a lot of energy. Yeah, if we had a full-blown ass lightning as an arc powering the RAV, I think that it may sustain a little bit after you turn it off. It might just.
If you put that much energy into it, yeah, I bet it will. Sorry, I'm just going through the comments here.
Yeah, Washington obelisk is of Osiris. Is that what that one said? I missed it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Obelisk and dome in Washington is the Isis and Osiris getting charged to do rituals for the U.S. Insane. Yep. And that's been the point all along. It tends to be actually why they brought an obelisk into Central Park in Manhattan from Egypt. And right outside, like right near the financial district and all that. Obviously it's just about bringing the high energy level densities into those areas, because wherever you are able to extract the potential out of the ground, like from a magic perspective, everything is kind of in a state of flux and potential, but bringing that potential to the surface and having it in such high density levels where you could actually control it, right? Or have it available to you is pretty difficult, because you need to be of a very high ability to be able to raise it yourself. But by bringing these mechanical mechanisms in, the energy density levels get super high. There's certain different rituals through different geometries, that could be done to actually redirect that energy and manifest in creation to your will and whim. And obviously Washington, D.C., every single building there, every single road there, the entire layout is in accordance with, all the geometries that you would kind of, expect from ritualistic magic and sacred geometry and such.
Yeah, well, that's true. I've seen that.
Yep, and no matter, yeah, and Subtle Ram says it too. And the once the energy is available, you know, if you know that it's there, you know that how to be able to gather it and control it. Um, right. See, intention goes a long way if you don't like if you don't really know what it is you're doing. The intention has to really kind of be good in order for the good forces to sort of push it out most of the time, because if you have bad intentions, you'll see things backfire on you all the time. But
Yeah.
if the energy density levels are that high and you're able to then control them, you know, from an occult perspective, you know, realistically, your intention could be whatever it is, and you just have you switch the ratios in your favor at that point.
Okay, so check it out, Joe. Okay, so since you went there a little bit, let's go there all the way. The reason that a UFO craft can connect with the mind and move everywhere that it does is because you're directly connecting with the ions and the energy, just like the hairpin circuit. So when you put your hands in the mud, when you do things like that, it goes into your pores, right? Goes into your pores, connects with your electrical system in your body. Your system is now resonant to it and can get aligned with it. But you don't even have to get the physical connection as that to get it. As long as your connection in your body and the energy coming out of it can align with it, it's because it's in the ion state of the center core of it, because that's where you are. It's like the brain mechanism of it. It's controlling how big the field gets, where it goes. You know what I mean? Where it moves, which way a direction it goes, things like that. That's why it does it. If you can connect with that, you know what I mean, in your mental state, you've got it.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is that, like, I mean, there's a lot of entanglement that obviously happens, but we are, like I said before, our solar system, the ironic thing is that we're probably the center of the universe, and everything else is probably just like a reflection of us in some other kind of form that we're seeing. Like, I mean, whether or not that's true being secondary, the fact is that we're, whether we like to admit it or not, we are all each individually the center of our own universe, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we have a shared reality. And what's crazy about it is that, you know, if you've ever dealt with somebody who's totally fucking delusional, okay, you realize quickly how these shared realities, they don't really care about truth so much. They care about belief. Right. So if you believe that something is this way, you know, and somebody, I mean, if somebody else, right, if somebody else believes something is some way that it's not, watch the world, including you, if you're close enough, watch it bend around that to make it become true. It won't inherently be true at first, but it will become true because that belief is so strong. It's fucking crazy. Projection, man. And you know, that's why you always gotta like protect yourself and, you know, kind of be wise to a certain extent about, you know, who's in close, because once you have you know, a shared reality with somebody, like they have that ability of influence over you whether you like it or not.
Well, okay, it harmonizes. So women get their periods at different times. They live in a house together. They end up at the same time. It's no difference in clocks with the second hand going. You put them all on the same line, they eventually have the same swing, right? Everything harmonizes, but that's what energy does when it's around people. So, I mean, if your ship's doing it, and you're doing it, you're eventually going to harmonize. I mean, people can tell you what's going on in a Chevy engine just by harmonize with it, and they know intuitively where the part is that they need to fix. I've seen that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, it goes down to like tell somebody they are something that they're not enough, you know,
Oh, yeah.
and watch them become it.
Yeah.
You know, and if everybody around you, you know, believes that, whispers that, says that, thinks that, treats you like that, watch you become it every time.
Yeah.
Crazy. It sucks. But crazy thing is gnosis, right? If you become aware of it, then you could actually mitigate it. You can't always deter it entirely, but you could mitigate it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They'll say it's psychology, but you know, it's
It's not.
it is, but it's deeper than that.
It's
Yeah,
yeah, it's the resonance that goes on around you.
it's and
Yeah,
it's other people's beliefs at work. Other people's beliefs will dictate many things about what happens in your portion of the shared space.
oh man, maybe that's it. When everybody else is crazy around me, that's why I lose my mind sometimes. I can blame it on them now, Joe.
Yep.
Huh. Oh man.
A lot of the times that you know what, when you become super aware, you try to be humble and just realize I'm only a human being too, but you do end up realizing that most people are just like totally,
Drones.
totally crazy. Not most people, but like, there's a very good percentage of people out there that are just totally not aligned with what's really going on. And it's just like, oh god damn it, who did this?
Well, it's funny because you listen to your brain, you got your left and right brain, and they talk to each other, and then you're like having a conversation with them, right? And then you get these other people, and you wonder what the fuck's going on in their head. Like, what are you really thinking on both sides of that brain in there? Because what you're doing is like nuts. What we're seeing is crazy. I've seen that a lot, dude. And I just sit there and watch. It's like you just pull up a chair and you're like, I just want to see the chaos. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you do. I mean, right? I mean, honestly, I said, I was like, the chickens are relaxing. They're actually pretty cool. I kind of like them. Like, you grab one, sit on your lap, and it's just
Yeah.
like kind of chill. Well, I mean, I also have multiple roosters, so like if I didn't like a little bit of chaos in the mix, then I wouldn't have done such a thing. But that's sort of the spice of life, isn't it? Like, I mean,
I think, Joe, you put chaos in the mix every time you go in there, just a little bit.
well, look. I mean, the other day I walked outside. A couple of them were going at it a little bit. They don't go at it hard or anything, but it's like they're going at it. I'm like, you motherfucker! I didn't even get to throw my $5 bill down. I don't, it's
Just got UFC chickens.
yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, they'll have nub spurs. Oh yeah, you're gonna get me? Well, you're the clawed cat, You're
Oh,
gonna get me?
I get that in my house all the time with the cats. One's just sitting next to him, doesn't like the way he looks, so just whacks him. I'm like, oh god, dude, you never get away with that in society. You imagine that? You just walk over looking like somebody, oh well, you know what I mean? Like your cat does. They don't care. They're assholes, dude. They just like swipe you and no problem.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, my cat gets me as I come by. Like he'll jump up on the island, and if I don't pet him, then he just right there with his claws and gets me as I'm walking by. So,
I mean, you want to talk about another universe, man? I told you the goats, and so I got the goats, and like I understand goats. I'm a Capricorn myself. After all, I kind of understand goats. So my girlfriend's like, that's wire. Like we give them good food, this, that, the other. Like that's wire, that's cardboard, that's paper, that's a bench. You know what I mean? It's like, would you just stop trying to eat inanimate objects? I'm like, they're never going to stop trying to eat inanimate objects. I was like, their goal is to be able to eat inanimate objects so they can be like, see, told you. Like that's that's the goat in us all sometimes, and especially if you're born in December or January. But it's like, man, they're funny things. And they're so small. And it's like, oh, you're so cute, and you pick them up and you carry them around, and they follow you everywhere you go, right? But the funny thing is, like, it's like, oh, well, yeah, you're gonna be like 170 pounds minimum. Oh, okay, and have horns.
yeah.
The dogs are like, they love them, the dogs, but they're like licking them and stuff, and like getting very rambunctious with them, and they're just like, whatever, they're fine with it, sort of, but. But I'm sitting there laughing at myself because I'm like, yo, you weigh like 90 pounds, you fat pit bull, and her dog is like a mastiff. He probably weighs like 80 pounds, something like that.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there saying to myself, like, yo, joke's on you, because each one of them is going to weigh more than both of you combined, and it's going to have literally a head of cinder block with pointy things at the end. And I was like, and then the joke's just on you. So I don't know, get it out of your system.
Yeah,
Better
no
be nice
kidding.
to them.
Oh man. Huh.
Yeah, they make some weird sounds. They do. They kind of like, it's weird. They kind of like it almost sounds like people sound sometimes. It's a little strange.
Yeah. Well, I've heard that sometimes when you watch those videos.
Yeah, they bad, but like sometimes it sounds like more wordy, like some other consonants in there. I
Uh-huh.
don't know. It's sort of weird. I agree.
Yeah. That was one of the things they did in the movie, by the way, is they spoke a language and one guy understood it in pure mathematics and was able to translate it into words.
Oh, it's crazy.
That would be awesome.
Huh.
You know what I mean? That'd be like, oh man, I came super smart, understanding everything in the universe right then and there. Yeah.
Yeah, they keep on saying that everything's math. And, for a while to get to understand things, you are like, yeah, it's true. And it's true to a degree. That math breaks down after a while. And what you realize is that, it's far stranger and, not something that a number can or formula could tangibly explain. So they say math is the language of the universe, but yeah, maybe three-dimensional universe. I think that once you start getting up there, it starts to become a lot more abstract than that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, we invent some math too. Like certain cultures
All
didn't
the
use
time.
a zero.
No,
Yeah.
just love to invent math.
Yeah.
That's what they do. It
I
doesn't
mean,
work. Change the figures.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. It was like, do aliens use a zero or is it just us? And we get screwed up because of it. Because it's like the Terrence Howard thing, right? If you're asking the question, if anything is multiplied by zero, well, no, it's not, right? But does that mean if you ask the question, would I have anything in my hand, right? But I use the multiple of zero, would there be an additional? You'd say no, but you still have the number in your hand. So he's completely right. He says, you know what I mean, in a different way. But, in one instance, if you ask the right question, they take your money. Okay. And in the other instance, if you ask the other question, you keep your money. And that's just how it works. I always love that when my kids tell me that. Oh, yeah, it's always by zero. I go, great. Put the $20 bill in your hand and let's see it, right? I mean, multiply it by zero and I'm just going to take it. Yeah. So it's just funny how that works out. So that makes you wonder if it's math or universal language, did they use a zero? Or did they just say, hey, we're too smart for this. We're not even going to put times zero in the system.
Well, I mean, it's funny because zero is probably a misunderstood thing. And I remember even seeing this episode of like Big Bang Theory, or maybe it was Young Sheldon. It was one or the other. I don't know. But like they were like zero. Oh, it was Young Sheldon because he was like zero doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right. And it's good, but it could be defined. Right. And what zero is and what people maybe miss about it is that it just represents ambient. That's it. The ambient of something. So there's got to be a threshold of an ambient. So there's an ambient average that we acknowledge is it's going to count up from here and it's going to count down from here. So if you have the temperature in the room of 50 degrees, right? If you're looking at 70 degrees, realistically, it's 20 degrees. It's plus 20, right? And if it's, 60 degrees, then I'm sorry, if it's 40 degrees, then it's minus 10. Right. So that's how but in that same example, right, 50 is zero. So what we measure as 50 or explain generally as 50 is actually 0. And anything on this side of it is a plus, and anything on that side of it is a minus. That's all it means. So 0 does exist. It's just the ambient.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we agreed, like right. If you have nothing in front of you, then you have no apples. Right? If there's nothing in front of you, then you have no apples.
Yeah.
Okay. If you say, hey, I'll give you an apple, then you're minus an apple. And if someone gives you an apple, then you're plus an apple. So the natural state is to have nothing in front of you, but that nothing isn't nothing. It's just in a state of flux potential, right? So in other words, there's always the potential for you to say, I owe you an apple. And there's always a potential for you to gain an apple. But right now, you're just in a state of potential of neither having or owing an apple.
Yeah.
That's all.
That.
Yeah.
It's like my state of potential that I have no money, but I could eventually get some, but then it goes away eventually. Yes.
Yeah.
Every month.
Right. So you're still right. You're still at your ambient.
Yeah.
Of nothing.
That's why I feel so blah sometimes when it comes in. It's like, well, it went right back out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey,
Pixel shader gets the point exactly. If you put the same thing on both sides of the scale, it says 0. It doesn't mean that it's nothing. It means that it's equaled out, which is exactly what ambient is. Because if that was the earlier part of the conversation, I don't know if you were here, Pixel shader, at the time, but I literally said that the equilibrium is the ambient.
Yeah. Okay.
that is the ambient condition. So we're talking about the same. We're talking the same language. So young Sheldon, he might have been very smart, but bro needs to come watch some OMB back in the 80s. Before his old man died. That was sad. That was a sad episode. Yeah.
It was the same episode?
No, sad episode when his old man died. It was like the last one.
Oh,
terrible.
Yeah.
They had to kill the guy. I mean, the poor fat fuck. He was just trying to coach some football. That's all he was trying to do. Drink some beers, have an affair with the lady in the chicken house next door. Their fat imbecile kid that lived over there. I don't know. Whatever. I digress.
I don't know. I didn't watch the last episode. I'll have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, no, it's horrific. You better take my word for it.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny because when you start dealing with energies and that density, dude, time dilation comes in, man. I'm sorry, I go back to the cores of things. That's what's tripping me out, man, because there's think of time travel, but it's really time dilation. So which way does it go? You know what I mean? Can you reverse it? Can you speed it up? Can you be on the other side of it? You know what I mean? Which side of the equilibrium you're going to be on? That would be a trip. Like mentally, you have to be prepared for that to happen. For there be some kind of time variation in what you're doing, just in the inherent nation of how it's built, right? How it's built, you're looking at it going, oh my God, dude, like I could be traveling through time, not just in a linear sense, but like screwing you up mentally in your head. Like your internal clock is completely scrambled at that point. So, yeah. I don't know. We're kind of weird. I was thinking about that the other day, and I thought, man, my mind would be mush. Like the first time you did it, because you don't know which time it is. You're back, you're forth, you're sideways, you're different. You know what I mean? It's not linear time. You're not getting, hey, in 10 minutes I'm going somewhere. No, it's not that at all. So it's kind of abstract at that point.
I agree. I mean, it's all abstract. You tell somebody, hey, I'm coming now. And then you take a sec, you get up. Well, then you did. You never, ever did. You never kept your word one time.
No. I always tell them I'm getting there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Eventually I'll get there, but I ain't gonna be anytime soon.
People don't understand when I say, "Hey, give me 5 minutes." My clock runs at variable speeds. Like my personal time dilation.
Mhm.
It runs at different speeds depending on what's going on. So like sometimes like I'm sitting there like, oh, it's been like a minute, then 2 minutes. It's like you said you were coming 5 minutes, like an hour and a half ago. It's like, listen, it was very fast for me. A lot has happened in this 5 minutes. I
Yeah.
mostly have ADD.
Oh my God, dude.
that my medication wore off at like maybe noon.
Yeah.
So it's like now, well, I'm really like firecracker now.
Oh, dude, you want to drive me nuts? Like, I go on the OfferUp, right? And people stop by and they go, okay, I want to buy this item. And they're like, well, I'll be over in a little bit, right? And if you're over like an hour later, dude, I'm frustrated. It's like, dude, I don't even want to sell it to you anymore. Or like you hit me up one day and then the next day you forget, or hey, I'm going to be there. Let me get your address. And then they don't show up.
Oh,
Dude, that stuff, it's like, it
that's
drives
the
me insane.
just literally courtesy is as simple as being like, time got away from me. I'm so sorry, but I'll be there.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That stuff drives me nuts, dude. That's the one thing it frustrates the daylights out of me.
Right.
I can't stand that because I like to be on time. I'm on dad time, so I'm like 20 minutes early usually. You know what I mean?
I try to be that too, but it's only out of awareness,
Yeah.
of my awareness of my own dysfunction most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah. You ever done that, Joe? You got into a state in your mind, like say if you're running, right? And you get in a state in your mind where you can continue to run, it feels like forever at the highest level possible. And you're just flying.
Yeah.
And you don't hardly feel it all, and your mind's in a total different place.
Yeah. Yeah. When I used to exercise a lot, because I might not anymore, but I definitely been through my stints. Yeah, there were times where I could go and go and go and go and go and go in that flow state. But that flow state, it transcends just the physical,
Mhm.
when your body is going, because your body and mind kind of connect in that way when you're doing something physical. But like there's other times where I could go down like a rabbit hole in my head too and just sit there and focus on this entire dynamic thing. And that's how I end up losing track of time a lot of times. Is like, oh, I'll just start thinking about something and then it's like a plan. And then I'm coming up with like all the nuances and playing devil's advocate about it and this, that, the other thing. But it's like more than just an internal monologue. It's like this very um conditioned thing. Like once it's set in place, it's like going. It's like, all right, give me a few. I'm going to figure this out. And it's sort of what it is. Yeah,
Mhm.
getting to them all the time when we're just having these conversations. Actually, because you blink, you look up, and it's like, oh, dude, it's been 2 hours. Or it's been 3 hours and 40 minutes.
I get that a lot, man. Conversation moves fast sometimes.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. I think that's cool, man. You know what I mean? The time moves that way. It kind of makes you think about it totally differently. It's no longer you're kind of every second on the clock. I like those days, man, when you get out there and you get some cool things done and you start making progress in a project, man, and those days take a little bit longer. Those are the ones I enjoy. Not so much I sat down and then I realized it was 2 hours later, or, you know what I mean? I fell asleep at my desk because I do that sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when I get up early in the morning. So,
The unfortunate thing is that, and yes, you can learn. I'm very, very certain to like control that to a greater extent than maybe the average person, like to a much
mhm.
greater extent. But I always feel like, when you need it and you try to summon it, it's like, just the will of wanting it is prohibitive of it occurring. So like sometimes like I'm at work and stuff and I work from home, I'm sitting behind my computer and I'm just doing like my mundane nonsense and I'll like really need it to kick in because I got a lot to do. And I'm just sitting there like baby shark the you know what I mean? Like yeah, like literally in idiot mode and just can't like do it at all. But then other times, like sometimes I'll like catch a nugget of something that like directs me down a path, and then all of a sudden it's like, time has flown. I've gotten so much done on something at work, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, cool, but this is all I got done. Yes, it's done to absolute perfection. There's not a single aspect of this that anybody could ask me about that I haven't considered,
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
but like then the bitter side of that is I had a lot of other shit to do, and I didn't really have that amount of time to allot to that one damn thing, just because it caught me in this like, I got it wormholed into it, like
Yeah.
or rabbit, I got down the rabbit hole on it, Um, it's like a blessing and a curse sometimes, I think.
Oh man, I totally misread this comment, Joe. Time flies when you're jaw jacking. I didn't read the first part of the last word. So
Yeah, I mean, listen, time flies when you're doing that too. Then it's funny because if you were to ever just go do the real thing, then it ends in like 5 seconds. Like what gives?
oh, it's so funny. I guess time does fly if you do that. Yeah. Oh. Oh man. Afro man, yeah. Oh yeah. That guy lost track of time big time. Oh, did you see that when they went into his house, man, and they were just taking all of his money and stuff?
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. I don't like that whole rule, with those cops that show up and you got money in your car and they see it, they just take it. You know what I mean? It takes forever to get it back, or you have to sue them to get it back. That's just BS, dude.
Well, I mean, think about it this way. Cop on the street, and I hate to say it, and I'm sure it happens. Cop on the street, sees something go down, goes, like low level person, whatever, kid, homeless guy, whatever it is, finds some drugs on them, takes their drugs, says, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have it in their back pocket. Then they see, oh, you know what? Yeah, this person has a bag of fucking money next to them. And then the next thing you know, oh, I'm sorry, can you step out of the vehicle? I see something on your floor. And then next thing you know, the vehicle is seized, the money's fucking gone, Like, pieces of shit. Like, and I hate to say it, but there's no protections when it comes to things like that. Because bad people that are willing to lie will always win.
Yeah. Well, it just sucks because it gives them a bad image. And, you know what I mean? Some people don't care and they just ruin it for all of them. I mean, I like to think the cops are better than that, you know what I mean? But some of them obviously aren't.
I mean, there was one point in my life where I would have, probably been like, back the blue or some stupid shit like that. But I got to be honest, they're paid enforcers of the will of the state, and frankly, I kind of, I have the reasonable amount of respect for them that any human being deserves.
Mm-hmm.
But what I just said, paid enforcers of the will of the state. And frankly, anybody who signed up, without realizing that and then went through with actually doing it. I mean, you could say, hey, well, law and order, we live in a society and society has blah, blah, blah. I had the opportunity to become a police officer 3 times over. And in fact, I'm quite sure that my family, in fact, I know, because I come from a family of law enforcement, that I didn't take those jobs and they thought I was the biggest fool in the world. And my answer when I was 20 years old and I got called for that job, okay, was I don't want to impose my will on others.
Mhm.
Okay. And I don't want to inject myself, okay, into somebody's life in a negative way. All right. Where like I will never have enough information to really know 100% of the time if what I'm about to do is going to screw this person's life up totally unnecessarily. I
Yeah.
was like, that job may very well be for some people, but it's not for me. And the answer I got back was, well, you help so many people too. And I said, that's fair. And helping people is wonderful. And I think that's great. I was like, but if you harm without warrant, if you harm without warrant inadvertently, 15% or 20% of the people that you have to make a decision on, and the number probably is that high.
That's crazy.
The number probably is that high. There's probably fallacy and bullshit going on in most of, like the majority of the cases to a certain extent. The point is, I don't want to be the person to make that decision. Let that be somebody else.
That's fair enough.
That was always my take on it. I don't know. But yeah, not much of a back to bluer anymore. But like chill of the state, go retire after 15 years, making 75% of your salary in full benefits, on the house,
Yeah. Well, that's if you make it, because a lot of times, man, stupid stuff happens to those people a lot. I don't envy that. Yeah. No, thank you. Oh, man. All right, Joe, we're about a couple hours in, man. I think we should call it for the night, man.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's like 9:15 over here. And I think dinner are calling. Got to go out to that coop and get me some goods.
Yeah, you're a couple hours later than we normally go. So, yeah, you got to be starving by now.
Yeah, that's all right. I was hanging in there.
Huh.
I mean, I'm all sunburned. I'm sweaty as hell. Like, it's fine.
Huh. Oh, man. All right, guys. I want to thank Darren out there, brother. You have $5, man, for super sticker, and then one free old man build membership. Right on, brother. I appreciate all of it, brother. Thank you very much.
We'll have to do a 10K special next weekend.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it to tell you about it, Joe, and talk about it. We should.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a huge, and it took that last mile was like the long ass mile. Like we were in that flow state until that last mile. Then it's like, God damn, where's that finish line?
Yeah,
you start to wonder, like, when am I going to cross this?
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
We should do some chicken wings again, Joe. That'd be pretty good. Those are good.
Right on, yo. Listen, I'm down for that. I still got the hottest of the hot sauces left.
Well, I got it too.
I've used a bit of it since then. But
have you?
Yeah.
I looked at it in the fridge and said, I'm not going near that damn thing.
Oh, I mean, mine in the fridge. Mine's just in the cupboard. But yeah, I was ready to rock and roll. It's good. I've used a drop or two of it and various things to bring it up. So
thing almost killed me last time. All right, I'm up to do it again.
Right on, dude. Yo, we'll work that out. 10K chicken wings.
Well, guys, I want to thank everybody in the chat, man. You guys have been awesome today, man. Thank you again, Darren. Thank you, Joe. And have a nice night, guys.
Peace and love.
The old man Bill. The old man Bill. The old man Bill. The old man Bill. The old man builds is broken in the head. People not seeing reality has put them in the red. Where conscious and spirituality was stricken from the norm and replaced with the ignorance of basic magnetic form. The geometry of God keeps running through his head. That's what makes old man builds broken in the head. The old man builds. The old man builds. Spheres of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition. Has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to extend. old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. Fears of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition, has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to extend. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. Fears of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition, has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to extend. The old man builds.